are for another 4-day to 5-day, however long it takes to build this boat. We're going to take it challenge. This time we're going to try and learn from our previous mistakes that we did during the first 4-day collaboration. This time we're bringing all tools and more people. People from the crew you haven't even been introduced yet will be here. We're going to get going, we're going to team up, and we're going to try to tackle this boat build in record time. Did I mention last video that we're staying at the PB Lodge in Dayton, Tennessee? It is a hotel specifically made for tournament fishing or weekend fishing, whatever you want to do out here. We're on Lake Chickamauga and we're at the perfect hotel to host this. It's a hotel on top of garages made for boats. It is the only one like it, and we get to experience it firsthand to not only fish out of it, store our boats in it, but also to build. Driving up here was kind of a challenge, but the accommodations we all got once we made it here were totally worth it. Back on the West Coast, I live in one of the most popular lakes in the region, and I can tell you the crime and vandalism that happens to bass boats out there is so much that most bass fishermen would love to have accommodations like this. So I hope this idea picks up all around the country because we need it. And when I say we're on the lake, we are there. We are right there on the edge, and so that will be something we'll be tending to later. But now, let's get into this. The project is an old, very well used 1652 John boat. And when I say it was used, I mean, I don't know how much more you could use a John boat. I mean, this thing was definitely absolutely used a lot. And, you know, not sheltered. It was just kind of left out there. And what comes with that is a lot of maintenance. So we'll be spending a good part of our morning tending to that. Obviously it looks like crap. There was all kinds of corrosion. You can still see all the oxidation and pitting. Look at that. That white powdery stuff looks like crack. That's not crack, it's corrosion. And we spent a pretty good part of our morning scraping out as much of it as we can. We will end up primering and painting this whole boat underneath before we stick anything in. And as a direct result, we did see mounts of corrosion and pitting in conjunction with all the sludge that we'll eventually have to flush out. I think we got a pressure washer in John's trailer. John brought a trailer full of tools. I brought all my stuff. It's all over the place. We got drinks. We have Bojangles. We have an empty box. It was full. A boat this used and this exposed to the elements, and you know, this old, really there's only one way you need to go first. That's the transom. Whether it's welded at the top or whatever, you got to cut that out and you got to get the transom out. Otherwise you're just risking when it's going to explode. This one, it's right there. I mean, a few more years it would have lasted, but maybe not. Corrosion's pretty substantial, and the deterioration to the board over time. And this is treated plywood, by the way. Treated plywood does nothing against the elements over time. It all decomposes, it does what wood does. So we are going to fix that by sticking in an aluminum transom, because really, who wants to do this again? Not us. I'm sure we're pissing off everybody in the entire hotel right now. They're probably not happy. Profound amount of noise going on right now. Not great. You can't handle that Milwaukee. You know that the wall you can't hold it together. Yeah, but Milwaukee we have a 12 half hour. That's close. 12 half hours. The Milwaukee DeWalt divide only gets worse as the days goes on, and you'll get to see all that, but right now check this out. This is a aluminum transom that's just, we could ship them to you like this, and all I have to do is cut it. Just like a piece of like 2x12 wood. Just give it a cut, make your marks, and install it. It's ingenious. Why hasn't anybody done this sooner? And this is a standard John boat transom model, because most John boat transoms like this one are not complicated with a bunch of curves and angles, but we do sell custom ones to fit if you need them.
Got a good 1.25 inch of that one that's welded on the It's not gonna be all the way in the corner.
Yeah.
All the support's gonna be on.
But that's gonna be still nice for putting the tie
Oh
downs
yeah.
in.
When are you gonna start selling aluminum transoms?
We are.
Oh. Let's see what you got, Nate. See if it fits.
See if it gets on the first try. There we go.
Oh, we got it!
Yeah.
Oh! Get it in there!
It's in that corner. John broke that off. John's fault.
There we go.
Look at you complaining.
Yeah, look at that.
Hey, you need clamps? I got clamps.
2 clamps.
Got a little break. Needs a little love here as well.
Dude, that looks nice. Clamps. Here, let's go get some. You gotta dent that out. You got a ball peen hammer? So the transom's the most important part of the boat for all of you who not know. My personal opinion, it's transom first, and then obviously the subfloor. And then after that, you know, then you have wiggle room to figure out whatever you're gonna do. But the transom and the subfloor have to be done. Is that bench seat free floating? Is a free floating bench seat, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty worthless then. You see? So the bench seat was free floating, so we just cut it out. Because, I mean, to duplicate what that did, we just have to, we're gonna have a million joiners that are, yeah, 10-fold. We actually welded an entire, well, he did, not me, but he actually welded an entire frame. So we're gonna try and seamlessly do this, so we don't kill ourselves like we did in the 4-day build. We already have a lot half frame. This is all tube that he welded, and they're already welded precisely for all those drop-in lids that we generally have. We don't have them with us, but oh, those are all the lids. I'm sorry, they're just all nice and packaged. So what do you got going on?
Taking the top cap from the transom.
If John was at our 4-day build on day 1, we might have got it done in 3. That's how good he is. Fireant Boats, Adam Ryan, and of course us.
Pick that up in a second.
Hold it.
Probably be just as easy to cut it with a surgical saw.
That thin corroded piece of aluminum we cut out to get the transom out is not going to go back in there. We're going to go ahead and cut this 1x2 piece of aluminum tubing, and we're going to make it the new top cap for the transom.
Now you gotta put this side.
Look at it. We drilled out those. These were solid buck rivets. We're gonna have to go to some more solid buck rivets. Obviously that's not gonna align with a thicker transom. Jeez. What are we doing here? I don't know, man. We're gonna have to trim that. It's not real kosher. Gonna trim and rehaul that probably. It's not looking great. Transom's definitely thicker. Now that's solid. Hey man, I need an aluminum transom. I'm never doing a wood transom after seeing that again.
Yeah.
It's a really nice transom. We'll have to weld that top cap onto those side caps later on, but that's later. Right now, we have to get this transom support on. We have trimmed it and we are reholing it. The transom is hollow between the tubes inside, so lining up the holes isn't really a problem. The transom support itself will be a little bit more difficult. And on top of that, the 3M 5200 that I bought is bad. Like, it's not coming out. We don't know what to do about it other than try to make it work.
Roll around. Watch it, there it goes.
Ew. These are them, ladies and gentlemen. We have some brazier head and some assorted other rivets and some nonsense. We either have to use solid buck rivets or stainless steel hardware. We might end up having to use both for this, but definitely the holes that are offset, we're just gonna plug those up with solid buck rivets and rivet washers on the back because the holes are kind of stretched out. And I think they were leaking to begin with. That's fine. You get a bucking bar or you get a strong enough hammer on the back end while somebody hits it from an air hammer underneath, and there you have it.
Feels like it's tight on my side.
Yeah, it's not moving on this side either.
Not killer.
After the transom is done, we are ready to complete the subfloor. But first, before we can lay anything in there, we need to paint it. That way it doesn't end up like it did. At least something. We're going to use self-etching primer. If you have aluminum barrier coat epoxy primer, that's even better, but do something. Don't leave it bare metal.
What's 14 hours between friends?
Back. Sorry, wrong can. There's what we're using.
We're trying to clean most of the contaminants off of this. There's no way we will get them all. Whatever we dump it, the self-etching primer will get it. Did they think they heard it?
No, no one knows what you're saying right now.
Interesting experience spraying all that primer in a non-ventilated room. Now it's time for the refoaming. The initial pink foam we gutted from the bottom actually was in pretty good condition. But we have equivalent stuff here. It's green. It's the same stuff. It's anti-mold. That is the bigger thing.
They go in and
Oh,
fix bars up, but it's with boats.
Boat rescue.
All right, we got the first piece of aluminum going down.
You ever seen Pimp My Ride? This is Pimp My Boat.
Hit my boat.
Sycamore, yeah, I can't stress the importance of tools on hand. So Ryan, Mike brought everything in that camper over there from Arizona. We got, John Steers got his whole deal here. I mean, and we still forgot stuff. That's how intense trying to knock this build out in these projects and coming from all around the country, so.
One of the most time-consuming things you can do is attach sheet metal to anything. A subfloor, a deck, it just takes a long time. Even with people forming a chain of duties, it still takes forever. I don't really know what it is, but this took a long time to mount this subfloor to the frame. It took a long time. The last time we did a build collaboration, it takes a really long time if you're doing it by yourself. So just be prepared to spend all day on it. It's just all the drilling and the honing and the riveting. It takes freaking forever, but it is what it is. The front and back frame are prefabricated. We tried to prefabricate everything we could before we came up here. The more things that are done, the easier and faster this build gets, and the more we can go fishing. Something interesting though, check out this foam. This is, I think, 40-year-old foam. It's not looking great. It's got Swiss cheese holes. You can tell it's physically breaking down. It's pretty bad. That's what happens to styrofoam, and that's why the pink foam and even the green foam, they're formulated differently, so they don't decompose like this. Even though it's all polystyrene, it's just the way that it's actually made that counts. Though the initial subfloor was all blown out, the pink foam board underneath it was still really good condition. We checked it. We cut it in half, we cut it into pieces before we stuck it back in there, and it's gonna work well to refoam the front pocket, which is good because we can't really pour foam it. Yeah, don't look directly into the laser like I did. 360. It's apparently, I did not think it was 360. I thought it was underneath me and it was like right in my eye. Nate's idea to bring a prefabricated frame in was great because it saved us tons of time. Last time we had to frame that all out. It took forever just so we could drop the lids in. But this time we're actually going to probably get to the lids before we even close tonight out, leaving a very good window for our 3-day proposed timeline. But truth be told, even with a prefabricated frame, it still took a really long time, much longer than we anticipated.
You go in 3 days. One panel there. And the same life jackets. Paddle. See, paddle. Come on.
Okay, back to riveting, and riveting, and riveting. And all the time, it comes with that. It is what it is. We have two welders right there, Nate and John, that are fantastic at doing what they do. In the end, riveting still makes a lot more sense for stuff like this, for making flush mount things where welding just really isn't going to save us any time or be any more effective. Now that we've got that done, we're going to go ahead and fix up the sides, which added a little bit more time, but not really a big deal. We tied it all in there, tied it to the frame, tied it to the side of the boat, and then pre-fit the lids. Pretty good first day. We were right at where we needed to be for day 2, and there's only a few of us. But tomorrow, these garages start to fill up, and things really start to get interesting. Stay tuned for day 2.